How's it going, everyone? It's me, Noah here, and welcome back to a brand new video as well as a brand new creation here on my YouTube channel. It has been quite a while since the last one, and I'm very excited to start making some more content here on YouTube as well as Instagram and etc. And with this, I'm going to be showing off my Battle of Mimban vignette that I recently finished, and I'm very excited to talk about the techniques as well as the figures and this custom speeder bike, this Imperial speeder bike, which is mostly seen, of course, on Endor. And I'll be talking about all of that in this video. So be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and comment down below at the end of the video what your favorite parts about this build was. Starting off with the minifigures, this was basically the beginning of the creation, and with that, I wanted to take the solo minifigure, which is basically in the Battle of Mimban trooper or mud trooper costume, and I really wanted to take those, switch out the heads, and make a couple of grunts for this build, or a couple of normal soldiers that are not, of course, Han Solo. And with that, I used the TMC dark bluish gray heads, which are used for Germans, I think, and I really just wanted to use those or test it out, and these work perfectly for some Mimban troopers. And I of course paired them up with a couple of blasters from Brick Arms, which is the best in blasters that I've seen for custom blasters anyways. And with that, I also have the Captain Beckett uniform right here, which I just basically traded out the head for a different one, so you have a different character, and he is holding a DC-17 also from Brick Arms. Over here to the right, which is the last minifigure in this build, is this custom Scout Trooper, which is made up of the parts from the new Scout Trooper as well as the older one. And the credit for this design, of course, goes to my friend Luca, or Lucas Projects, and you guys can follow him on Instagram if you'd like to see where he used this particular minifigure or this design in one of his builds. So with the minifigures out of the way, real quick, I would like to talk about this custom speeder bike, this Imperial speeder bike, which takes some inspiration from many designs, including my friend Luca, and I will be making a video on this build in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And it'll be basically a step-by-step instruction on how to make this speeder, as well as the parts list, which will be in the description of that video. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, that video will be out in the future. So to start off with the MOC itself, I would like to talk about something that I always do with my builds, which is do this cool black border, which is very sleek and nicely rounded here by the corners. And that's just using some 1x6 bricks as well as these 1x2 arch bricks right here, and those are very nicely integrated right there, and you get this very sleek design for a border, so it gives also some height to the build and just very much polishes it off at the edges, of course. Small details here on the platform that I'm going to start pointing out is these dashes of mud, I guess I would say, which are here on the left, a little bit in the middle, as well as on the right side, which you use some dark tan elements to just give it some splashes of mud or dirt, and that just makes it a little bit more gritty and dirty here for the platform. Other small details are, of course, these crates, these barrels, as well as some rockets, and this grenade that's on top of the crate right there, and that's just to give some detail, or maybe to be some like ammunitions boxes or something for the Imperial Army to use for when they're battling here on Mimban. Here in this corner right here, we've got some more crates, some more barrels, as well as a small communications device using a 1x1 tile printed with a hand. And then right here in the corner, I use some more printed elements to give this more communications area as well, or it could be something to just figure out where the supplies are being dropped for something. That is connected here to this satellite, which uses some dark bluish gray, light bluish gray, as well as some light gray elements here at the bottom of the build, and then has some plants growing out of it, of course, just to signify that this has been here for a number of years. All of that is encased, of course, in some more dark bluish gray, in some medium dark flesh elements right here that just, of course, create or make up the dirt. And that is, of course, what we're going to talk about here on this side in just a moment. But before I do that, right here, the Scout Trooper, of course, also has some more equipment in small pieces that help to make sure, or maybe he's scanning the speeder bike right here to see if there's any problems with it. And this is hooked up using this older 2x2 train element right here that has a wire running out of it and is connected to the base of this speeder bike. And I thought that was pretty cool. I've used it, I think, before in another build of mine, and I really just like this element, and I would love to use it more in the future, so hopefully we get to use that in some type of other city or electric build. So moving on from the bottom area of the MOC, we've come to the top area of the MOC, which is of course the main battle area. You've got these two huge explosions right here, which I've done in the past, of course, using these rock boulder elements in trans neon orange as well as trans orange. And then for the ground itself, something that is just very simple, using dark bluish gray, medium dark flesh, as well as some of these 1x1 plates in a brown color. It's not dark tan, but it's a unrecognized color that I couldn't find on Bricklink, so I just thought I'd use them right here in this MOC, and that just gives it another layer of color for this terrain. Some other small elements that are just kind of passed through here are these bush elements, some slopes, and something that I really wanted to point out was right here you have this incline for the build or for the terrain versus the sloped, more plated area right here, and that's because I used the net technique, which is basically taking a Lego net, putting plates on top and studs on the bottom so you can get this more fluid terrain style or this more fluid terrain look, and that gives it this uneven I guess elevation in terrain. So very much enjoyed putting that together, and I think it looks really cool. So you got like the troopers right here, and then they're going to be running up this area once the explosions of course have passed. Lastly, that I would like to point out right here is this, which is these slopes that I've kind of put together to give it this transition from the platform all the way to the dirt, and then some rock that is of course underneath the dirt. And this can be seen on this side as well as on the other side, and that also wraps around the entire build. So maybe I'll have some pictures posted on my Flickr that show that transition, but that is basically wrapped around the build, and I really liked the idea of doing that. It had some complications, or it took a little bit of work to figure that out because you of course got some half plate differences, but I think it turned out really nice, and overall for the build it just really looks cool when you've got the whole thing all in one frame. So besides that, everyone, I think that's everything in terms of techniques and pointing out the build. Very much would like to hear your feedback down in the comments below, so be sure to do that. And also check out the next videos that'll be coming up here on my channel. So I'm very excited to start doing more of that and show you all the cool stuff that I've been recently working on. That being said, everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next LEGO video.